Okay, hello everyone. I am VeniVidiVici, also just Veni. I will do another instructional video now. I'm glad I reached 100k viewers, I see. I hope you guys are enjoying it. This video will focus on how to be a good cavalry player mainly. That means I will give some information about the build orders you can use, how you should use cavalry in battle, how you should be raiding, catch raids, etc. I will talk you through some games I played. I will show them and show important things in those games and explain why I do what I did. Also, I will be talking about hotkeys a little bit because many people asked how I use them and what setup I have. So, to start, let's go to Age of Empires quickly. The idea behind hotkeys is that you want to be a faster player. Age of Empires is a strategy game. That means strategy is important. There's the overall plan, what you're gonna do, when you're gonna do it. But it's also important to be to play at a decent speed. And since you can't do everything as fast with your mouse, you should just use your hotkeys. So I will talk a little bit about my hotkey setup. Of course, this is my setup. It doesn't mean you have to do it the same way, but I will try to explain why I have it configured the way I have. Of course, Age of Empires allows you to use duplicate shortkeys, so you can use the same shortkey for different units, and you can configure them the way you want to have them. So let's look at my barracks, for example. I play with the mouse with my right hand, so I have my left hand free. Obviously, my left hand is on the left side of my keyboard, so I want to use the left side of the keyboard as much as possible. You have the control groups from 1 to 9. 4 is usually my barracks, 5 is my stable, 6 is my town center, 7 artillery foundry, and 8 and 9 are, depending on the game, what I need to use in addition. 1, 2 and 3 are usually the main unit control groups. For example, if I play a 1-on-1, it's usually 1 is infantry, 2 is cavalry. If I play a team game, for example, in the games I'm gonna explain now, I will use 1 as my main unit group. In team games, especially in the start, you will often make 1 unit, like cavalry or musketeers. So then group 1 will be my main fight unit, my main group. So for example 10 or 15 hussars, cavalry, and 2 and 3 will be my raiding groups, for example 2 times 5. I use those groups to raid my opponent, but I can also use those groups to catch raids on my team, of course. The advantage of using those groups is that you will always be able to find your units everywhere on the map, so you have no idle army units around. Also, you can quickly change your view from one group to the other. If you have, for example, group 1 and group 2, you can quickly press 1 and your view moves to group 1. You can then quickly press 2 twice and your view moves to group 2. So in that way you can switch between the main battle and the raid and click whatever is needed. Okay, I divided my units in roughly 5 main categories. They are based on the basic counter system of Age of Empires. So I have Q for skirmishers, whether it's a skirmisher of the Dutch, of the French, whether it's a cazador or similar units. That's the skirmisher. W is my musketeer, same thing, whether it's a musketeer for British, a janissary, a Japanese Ashigaru musketeer, it's all a musketeer. E is for my bows, so that's longbowman, crossbowman, Yumi archer, etc. S I use for cavalry, so the hussars, the ulan, naginata, those kind of units. And D is my dragoon unit type, so that's the dragoon for British and French, the Reiter for Dutch, the war wagon for German, Tatar archer for Russia, etc. Then A is my kind of heavy infantry unit in melee mode. So that's the pike unit and the doppelsoldner. In this table I have configured, like I said, the S for cavalry and the D for dragoons. And there's a special unit that each civilization has, for example the cuirassier for French, the oplichnik for Russia, the lancer for Spain. And those special units I often I use the C to make them. Then you have some other hotkeys, like for example in the town center, if I want to eject my villagers I use the G key. And well, the idea is, for example, if you have the villagers on the right side of your town center, you can put them in your town center, and by using the G key you can quickly get them out on the other side. You save time, and sometimes it's useful versus rushes. The villager is S. That's because I'm also used to using S in StarCraft, but that's of course up to you how you want to use it. The main idea is that you want to use a shortkey setup that you're comfortable with, that works for you. Like I explained, I'm mainly using then Q, W, E, A, S and D, so that's all reachable with my left hand, same with the 1, 2, 6 control groups. Of course you have to get used to this, so you have to practice it and you have to find a way that works for you. But at least you now know what I configured. The rest is not that useful, I think. You should use a shortkey for finding idle villagers. You can use a spacebar or the standard hotkey, which is the comma, I think. But it's mainly about training units that have to be has to be an automatic process. So for example, as I told before, my Rex is on 4, my stable is on 5. So if I want to train musketeers, I press 4 and then W. If I then want to train some cavalry, I press 5 and then S. See, it doesn't matter for me what civilization I play, because for example at some point I know I want musketeers because I want to defend versus cavalry. So then I just press the W. Doesn't matter what kind of musketeer I get, I just want a musketeer. And in other situations you have skirmishers and you want dragoons to cover them versus cavalry, then I just press D. Doesn't matter really, well, in a few ways it matters, but in that case you just want to have a dragoon. So if it's a war wagon or a British dragoon or a Russian dragoon, you want to have the dragoon out. Okay, that's for the shortkeys. Now okay, then next up, this video will be about cavalry, as I explained before. There are some previous instructional videos I have made. I think they are very useful. This time I will be talking. The other videos I was writing. Both have advantages and disadvantages, but I think there's a lot of useful information in the other ones, so you should check them out, I think. If you go to my channel and you scroll down, you have more videos. You can click open in a new tab. Then you have past broadcasts and highlights, and there you see some previous instructional videos and you can just watch them there. Okay, so now this video, let me see, I will be talking you through some games I played before, and I will just try to analyze what I do and why I do it and explain the details to you. So let's go into the first example I have here. Yes, that's a game on Mongolia. It's a 2 versus 2. I play with my mate Win All the Time. Funny name. He's a very good player. Of course, if you play with someone who is very good, you might play a little bit different than someone who you don't know how he plays. In this game I'm French, he is British, and we play versus Heroes and Quentin Blanc. He is French and German. No, French and Russia, sorry. The video is already at 5 minutes something, but I noticed that the French guy, which is Quentin, aged pretty early, and that means that he probably well, actually there are two options. Either he had some very good food treasure, but that wasn't the case this time, or he aged by going for 13 villagers and no market, and that was the case in this game. By knowing that, you know you might expect a rush, because it doesn't make sense for him to age early and not trying to do any damage, because he would be behind on economy. So we are expecting a rush. Then first of all, I will be playing French here, and I will be doing cavalry as my main unit. Before I'm gonna start this game, I will tell you about the build order, because as French you have roughly let's say 3 things you can do. The first is something you don't want to do ever actually, but you can send 3 hussars as your first card in H2. The reason why you don't want to do it is because it will hurt your economy a lot. Usually if you rush, it's not that useful, because the defender has always an advantage with the town center, the fire, the damage from the town center, the Minutemen, etc., maybe a tower. If you defend, you might sometimes need it versus a very hard rush of, for example, Aztecs or Russia. But overall it puts you behind in economy a lot. However, it is an option. Okay, the second thing you can do is what many people do in team games. It's the most standard economic build. You do a market, of course, in H1. You research hunting dogs, that's the first food upgrade, and then you age. During age up you gather the wood for placer mines, that's the first gold upgrade. You research it, and you gather 125 extra wood, and then you put all your villagers on food and gold to what's needed. The reason you gather 125 wood is because you want to do the steel traps upgrade, that is the second food upgrade in your market, as soon as you hit the second age. This is a very economic build, and it gives you a lot of economy, a lot of resources to produce villagers and hussars the entire time. The problem with this is if you get rushed, you invest a little bit more in economy, which means you have a little less units than the other guys would have. Same thing if your team or yourself in 2v2 or 1-on-1 want to rush, you will have less units out, and that's never a good idea if you want to rush. If you rush, you make sure you have a lot of units out early, else you might better just not rush. Usually if you go for this build, you research steel traps right away. That's second food upgrade in the market. You can make 5 hussars on your first batch, and then 3 or 4 depending a little bit on how it goes on your second batch. The other guy could go for another build, I will explain that in a minute, which means he can have 5 hussars on the first batch, but also 5 hussars on the second batch. Now you don't have to be a math wizard, of course, to find out that if he would do 2 times 5 hussars and you do 5 and 3 or 5 and 4, he would win with the same skill level in micro, etc. So that's something you wanna keep in mind. What I did here is I gathered 125 wood, or actually 128, but no one is perfect, huh? I gathered that wood, but I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna use it for the steel traps upgrade or for a house. And that's the third build order. You can gather 100 wood extra during age up, and you make sure you then have 500 wood together with the 400 you get from your age up. 500 wood means 2 more houses and a stable, 3 more houses, sorry, and a stable. So that means you have 50 population, and that way you will not be housed for your second batch, because as I explained before, the reason why you can't make more than 3 or 4 on the second batch is because you are housed. That means you have no population free. You usually have the resources if you manage it right. Okay, so here I get 125 wood, but because I see that they rush, well, at least I think they rush because of the timings, I will use it for a house to make sure I can produce as many cavalry as I can to defend a hard rush. So let's see how this plays out. I will mute the music for now. It might be more interesting than my voice, I don't know, but then you have to watch it again later. There goes my stable. And of course the 4 villages shipment that I sent as the first card, always. Almost always. There's one more thing about that economic versus rush or semi-rush kind of build. If you I do steel traps here. Okay, well that's probably because I know that my mate is a very good player, so then you always have more room to to change things up. But there's one flip side I wanted to tell you before. I do steel traps now, as you see. That means I will have 40 population and not 50. So that means my second batch would normally not be 5 hussars again. However, if, let me pause it for a moment. If there is a fight and you lose 1 or 2 hussars while doing, of course, damage to them because there's a fight, the house problem is not a problem anymore, because you have suddenly free population, and as you should have the resources as well. So in that case you can still make 5 and then 5 hussars again. As you're probably gonna hear more often in this video and others, a lot of things depend on how the game goes. Because if they don't rush, you don't lose hussars. You're not gonna delete one, of course, and then you can't make as many if they come, let's say, 10-20 seconds later. Also, it is very important to have 5 hussars out on the first batch to defend raids, to defend the first push, so that everyone can keep gathering the resources and they can keep making units. If for some reason you think you have screwed up a little bit in the resource balance with your villagers on gold and food, what you could do is delay the first hussar you are training, or whatever unit, even if it's a Ulan or musketeer, doesn't matter. You can delay the first unit for, let's say, a few seconds. That will sometimes allow you to have just the right amount of resources to make 5 instead of 4. So that's a very important thing to keep in mind. Okay, what you see here is they do the rush we expect. German ship of Russia ships the Cossacks. French goes for the musketeer and hussar, as it seems, so I can't see if it's 3 or 4. Okay, wait, this is an important thing. Right now I see 5 musketeers and 3 hussars. While I'm thinking that it will be a stable and a barracks that the French made, it could be that he shipped 3 hussars and just made musketeers. So that's something you have to keep in mind and you have to figure out later. Because if he shipped 3 hussars, then of course he's lower on economy, and he doesn't have a stable, only 1 or 2 rexes, thus infantry. However, if he did make those 3 hussars, it means he can keep making hussars if he wants to, and you have to have enough anti-cavalry available. Okay, so how this is gonna play out, as you see, my hussars are still training. This is like the basic thing. You keep waiting, his musketeers are there, just you don't engage yet because we don't have enough units to fight them. Okay, they try to push a little bit. They see they can't go in yet, so they go back. Then there's Russia, and then there's French still. He has now 5 more musketeers. There's my hussar. Russia is coming there, here, in the bottom. The second thing you do in almost all build orders for French is you ship 700 wood crates. Because, as I said earlier, you are housed, you need the wood to make houses. You can use the wood to make a trading post, to make a tower somewhere, to secure gold and food on the map, or to do another market upgrade, to add a barracks, add a new stable if you lost one, etc. 700 wood is a very good card to send. Okay, here there's just a little bit of micro going on. We are actually not... we should not engage this yet. What I'm trying to do on this side, that's just the micro part. Like I said, I will give you information about several details if you play Cavalry. So I talked about the build order now. Next is micro. You want to attack together, always. So now I see that My mate is going back with his units, as he should, because we can't engage this yet. However, his cavalry was coming at this spot. 5 hussars are of course better than 4 Cossacks, or 5, is it? Well, anyway. So you want to try to do damage when you can, except you don't want to engage the full army, so you don't want to take too much damage from those musketeers. So you see that I will try to attack them, and then probably go back. Here, as you see, I'll go back. I try to kill the hussars, and then I should go back. Yes, exactly. The reason why I go back is I try to take the hussars out, so that he has more chance of, for example, adding longbowmen. Also, the hussars can't raid anymore. But I don't just stay there, because there are a lot of musketeers, and those musketeers do a good amount of damage versus my cavalry. So I go back, so that his musketeers, tower, town center, etc., can take out the musketeers. Then I come in again. It's just this back and forth game. If the musketeers come forward, I go back. If they go back, I come in again, because I have to try to kill off the Strelad. If I don't kill those Strelads, they will shoot the musketeers. Okay, he calls out the Minutemen. It's questionable, but I think it's a good... It's fine. I think we would have held it, but okay, he can do so. What you see here is what I talked about before. I lost 1 or 2 hussars. That means my second batch is also going to be 5 hussars, because I have no population problem, and I can make them. What you have to get used to is balancing your villagers on food and gold, because well, actually I try to play more like by instinct. I don't know the exact numbers, but you should get I always adapt and to what I see. For example, if I see that I have too much food, I put some more villages on gold, and vice versa. I don't know the exact numbers, though roughly it would be like 12 versus 8 or something, because you need more food than gold, and you also need food to keep training villagers. But you have to try to balance this out to make sure you have enough resources of both, so you can make as many hussars as possible. What I want to do here is either kill the Cossacks or the Strelads, because there are a lot of musketeers close to the Strelads, and I have only a few cavalry left. It's not good to go straight into this. Instead, I'll try to attack the Cossacks and kill them, so that my mate again has a chance to add longbowmen easier. While you did Minutemen, you should always push out. Minutemen have a certain amount of HP, which will degenerate during over time. So they are the best when you just call them. But what you see is there are too many units, especially Strelads, so we have to go back. Okay, here, well, you see, as I told before, he was a very good player. I asked for him make a longbowman. LB is longbowman. Because we both tried to kill the cavalry, so we know there's not much cavalry coming. He still has musketeers out to kill cavalry, a town center, a tower. I have my cavalry to block his cavalry if needed. So if he can add longbowmen, that would be very good, because he can... longbowmen have bonus damage against musketeers, so they kill musketeers faster. Also, Strelads have bonus damage versus musketeers, but not versus longbowmen, so your army has a better overall composition and lives longer and does more damage. But again, like I said, he's a good player. He already added longbowmen himself, so good job there. Something wrong with my sound, I guess. One more thing you can do here on Mongolia, as you see, is just slowly eating some cows to make sure you have enough food to keep producing as many units as you can. He's doing the same thing, but that's because he's rushed. You don't want to eat berry bush shit, because it's usually kind of slow. You did market upgrades for food, and food always gathers faster. Normal food, so animals. However, he needs to get his units out, so he eats some cows already. Okay, this we just keep messing a little bit more. You see that also my third batch, by the way, is 5 hussars again. This timing and this resource balance is important. Okay, here is the next topic of being a cavalry player, and that is raiding. When do you raid and how do you raid? Like I said before, it depends. It always depends on how the game is progressing. Here we did pretty good at holding off the rush. That means we don't have to be that scared for the follow-up. Since we still have a tower that's not killed, we have a town center, we have enough cavalry and units out, and I'm even shipping 8 crossbowmen. Oh, by the way, it's a team game, so you should communicate. I'm telling my mate that 8 crossbowmen are on the way. By knowing this, he, for example, could skip his army shipment if he was sending one, and send a more economic shipment if we think together that we can hold it. Another thing is that if he knows 8 crossbowmen are on the way, he might, for example, add a few more musketeers instead of longbowmen. All those things matter, so communicate with your team and tell them what you're doing, so they can adapt and play accordingly. It's a strategy game, so adapting and anticipating is very important. As you see here, I feel that we have done a good job in holding off, so I send some cavalry to raid. A lot of people will send, like, I don't know, I have now, wait a second, I have now 8 cavalry plus the 2 that I sent for raiding. A lot of people might send like 5-6 cavalry to raid. I strongly disagree with that. The problem is, if you send like all your cavalry or 6 out to raid and they come to attack you, you have too few units to defend. That means they can either, for example, kill a Rex, a tower, a lot of villagers, or kill your the whole army of your mate because he is alone. Once they kill the whole army of your mate, you have a problem because you don't have anything to shoot anti-cavalry anymore. So you have to add it yourself, you have to use Minutemen or whatever, it's all going to be very complicated. So the best thing to do is to early on raid with a few units. In this case I chose to raid with 2 hussars. You can also choose like 3, 4 would be the really maximum amount, I think. And that's the next part of the raiding chapter. Raiding is that you send your cavalry to your enemy's resources to prevent them from gathering, and thus to prevent them from having resources to train units, and thus their army will be smaller. The main goal is to prevent them from gathering resources, not per se killing villagers. Of course that's very good if you can, but it's not the main goal. So if you send a few cavalry, you can make sure that he has to send his villagers back in a tower or town center or whatever, because if he doesn't, 3 or 4 hussars are going to kill them also. You don't need to send 6 or 7. And you are, by sending just 3 or 4, you prevent them from gathering resources, but you are more safe at home if they attack you. Because good players will know that if you send like 8 hussars, they know you will have only a few left at home. That means they will just put their villagers in a town center for 30 seconds or whatever, and push with all the army they have, and then you have a big problem. Later on, as the game progresses and you have more cavalry and more villages, etc., it's often worthwhile to raid with like 5, 6, 7, 8, sometimes 10, because you have enough at home to defend with. And sometimes if you think you can kill a large group of units, for example if they are very far out on the map, it's worth it. Also it depends on where you're gonna raid, because the further you're gonna raid, the longer it takes to go back, even though cavalry is of course the fast unit. Okay, so let's just go on and see how this plays out. I raid here, he built a tower, that's very good of course, defense, probably shipped 700 wood as I explained before. We are actually just waiting for them to attack, because we know that we hold off the first push, and if we're just gonna hold off the second one, it's probably gonna be GG for us right there. You see that on the left side on the minimap here, my cavalry is now going to the other resources because I already raided him here. but there's a tower, so he went in the tower, so I can't do much there. You always want to, oh yeah, that's the next one. You always want to be active with your cavalry. Active around the map is very important. You want to catch raids of them, you want to raid them, you want to try to find some villager that is going for a tower, you want to try some villager that is going for some further away resources, anything. Cavalry is fast, so you can be quite fast in getting it back. Just don't go all the way to the other side of the map, that's the main thing. Okay, well, I send it back to the tower because they also now are hiding in his town center. Okay, here's the next battle. My mate signals me that okay, he's ready to go. Here I have to admit that they don't do the best job in micro because the skirmishers, the strelets, are too far from the musketeers. I come from the right side with from the right, yeah, the right as in the good side, but that is in this case the left side. I come from the left side with my cavalry because I want to attack the strelets. I'm gonna rewind it a little bit, although I can't. Something wrong with the video. Okay, never mind. I came from the left side, and then I used the attack move feature command. When you use attack move, every unit of you will attack the closest unit they see. The advantage of that is that if you spread your cavalry out in like a sort of horizontal line, every cavalry will, or almost every cavalry, will try to attack a different unit. If you, for example, select the whole group and click on this strelet, they are all gonna try to attack that strelet, and they're gonna bump into each other, run crazy like clowns and whatever shit they do. So that's not good. So you want to use attack move for the first hits, and then you're gonna micro manually. So you see here that I'm drawing this box here. I wanna micro those cavalry here. I'm probably gonna use them to kill this Cossack, and then I'm gonna try to run them around to the back to prevent the strelets from running back, while those hussars on the front keep attacking the strelets. While of course in the meantime my mate is trying to kill the musks, and my crossbowmen are also trying to kill the musketeers. I might use musks, but that's of course short for musketeers, same as that cav is short for cavalry. Next card. That's also how should I say it? It depends a little bit on what you're gonna do. In this case we are not rushing but defending. I have quite a lot of cavalry out, soon 5 or 4 more. Cavalry HP is a very good card to send. You could of course go for 700 gold and try to age up, but we first want to take map control here, and that means I want to have cavalry HP. That's the next sub-issue topic. Let me see if everything goes according to what I thought about. Yeah. Okay, that's all goes according to plan. You want to send cavalry HP before attack in almost every game, because sorry. Because cavalry HP gives you per hussar 48 more HP times whatever I have now, 15 or some hussars. That's a lot of extra HP, and that's very good in battle. It's a more valuable card than the attack card. The only reason why you want to send attack card is if you sorry, just a second. The only reason why you want to send cavalry attack is if you are playing a 2 vs 2 or 3 vs 3 where more than one guy is going cavalry. Because then it's a card that works for both you and your teammate, and that's always a good card to send. But if you are the only one going cavalry, that means not if you are playing with Russia, because Russia of course always has like 5 Cossack shipment. That doesn't matter. If you are the only one going cavalry, just ship cavalry HP. There's also an interesting discussion about if you're going musketeers, whether you should send as British the attack or HP card first. It's a little bit more complicated, and since this was a video about cavalry, I'm not going to explain it here. I think actually I explained it already in a video before. Yes, you should check out the other instructional video because I explained in detail when you should use which card and why. Okay, next, back to this game. Yeah, you see that I keep selecting some different units and give them a different target. I try to prevent them from running into each other and trying to attack as many different targets as possible. Here we clearly, yeah, like won the game pretty much, except if one of them is aging, but I doubt it. He has musketeers to protect his longbowmen, even if some cavalry comes out. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna raid with 5 cavalry to try to do as much damage. What I see here is that they're still not making many units, so we are in a good spot. Again, he has some anti-cavalry left, so it's not like he is weak versus cavalry. That means that I can go away and do some big damage somewhere. Here you see crossbowmen trying to attack musketeers and etc. because their siege attack is bad anyway, while the hussars siege the blockhouse. Now, as I said before, he can deal with this on his own. I'm gonna raid with all my cavalry to the tower, because I know that he has a lot of villages there. If I can kill those, it's probably game over. The cavalry I have there already is, of course, this cavalry is of course taking damage, but all I want to do is try to prevent him from running away. I want to keep him in the tower, so I keep attacking there. That's only because I know I have more cavalry on the way. Normally you would just run away and try to raid someplace else. Now, as you see, I'm sieging the tower. He knows he's gonna lose it, and all the villagers in it. So that's pretty much the end of this game. Okay, this was game 1 of 2. I have 1 or 2 more games I want to talk about, because there are different topics that are interesting. I think I covered here a lot already. It's a lot of information for you guys, but yeah, this game is just over. I don't know why they don't resign yet, but yeah. As you see here, I'm still raiding again. I split my raids now because largest group is going to Russia because we're gonna attack him. Some cavalry was still going to the yellow guy. Here you see I'm again trying to run my cavalry around to all sides, so they attack from every side and not just stand behind each other or do some stupid things. Okay, they lose all the units. This is game over. Okay. Okay, this was the first one. This is game is ended. Next will be another very interesting game. This was played on the ESO servers. It was with some good people, and I can show you some more interesting things. 2.16. Oh yeah, this was the game on Painted Desert. We are. I'm French, once again. I'm French. My mates are Russia and Aztecs. So we obviously want to try to rush and get map control. Their civilizations are British, and German. If I'm correctly, just 1 minute. If the game is loading. Yeah, we were French. Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm gonna skip through this a little bit because these are now standard things I'm gonna do. You know, you're gonna get the crates, you're gonna try to herd your food close, get treasures, scout the map, etc. Of course, I'm gonna try to do a market first, even though we wanna rush, because yeah, as French, you just almost always wanna do a market. It gives you so much more economy and just easier to be able to make villagers and hussars later on. But these things are explained in some previous videos already, so that's not going to be not going to talk about it here. I'm going to skip through some point further on in the game. Okay, there. Here we're going to do our forward base. Okay, again. No, not again. But here we want to rush, as I said before. I gathered 100 additional wood to make sure that I get the 50 population out and not steel traps right away, because I want to make sure I have as many cavalry as possible, because we are rushing, so it's important to have a lot of units out early on. Then later on, with the 700 wood shipment and all else, I can do the steel traps upgrade and still catch up with my economy. But it's important to do some damage now to them. Here, what's interesting to see is JMO1 is a very good player. However, I feel that this game versus these civilizations, he aged too late, a little bit too boomy, I guess, with the villagers in the first age. So his second barracks is only just finished while we are already coming to his town center. What you could also do, of course, is building your barracks behind. They already scouted our base, they knew we were there. So why would you build your barracks in front? I would always build them behind. The reason for that is that it's much easier to defend them. If we want to siege those barracks, we have to go past his town center. He can call out Minutemen at the right time, prevent us from going back, trapping us, etc, etc. So I would almost always in this situation build my barracks behind it. Those like 3 seconds or whatever it is doesn't matter much, because you are gonna get rushed. It's not like you want to rush. One small detail here, you see that my scout is getting attacked by his hero here. The scout is a very valuable unit, you don't want to lose it early on, so you have to try to save it at all times. So you can put it somewhere on the map invisible and see raids coming or army movements or whatever. So what I'm doing here is, I hope you can 2207. Let's see if you can see it right here. He put his hero in melee whatever you pronounce it, melee mode. That means that he's gonna attack my unit and slows it down, so I can't escape. The only way for me to escape is to slow down his hero by attacking it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my hero, put it in melee mode as well. Melee, I think it's melee. I put it in melee mode as well, and you can see that here, this the melee mode thing. And then I'm gonna attack his hero. That way his hero is gonna be slowed down, and I can escape with my scout, as you can see here. And then my scout can be somewhere else on the map and do his job. Okay, so we are rushing. You see that, as I said before, try to balance out your resources, have 5 cavalry out on the first batch. One important thing, oh wait, this is a nice move. As I said before, if you're going cavalry, it doesn't matter if you're going cavalry as French or German or British or whatever, you want to be active on the map when you can. This guy, Blue, he is, I have no idea how you pronounce his name, QG or something Japanese. He is good with his cavalry, and what he does here, Ulan of German gets 2 free Ulan for every shipment they send. So his first card, doesn't matter what it is, he gets 2 free Ulan. He has them before anyone else has trained cavalry. He is on the left side here. He immediately sent those 2 Ulans to our base, because he knows that we have villagers over there to have built the base. What he also knows is that since we are rushing, we are probably focusing on the rush itself. So the units, in this case near red, near his town center, trying to micro, etc. It is then a very good thing of him to send those Uhlans and try to kill some of our front base villagers. As you see, he killed one of mine. Yeah, I could have perhaps reacted a little bit faster. I think I would still lose it. It should not have been there on the left side in the first place. It should have been gathering somewhere here where I have more line of sight to see something like this coming. But it shows you it's a very good move from him. It also shows that it's smart to do this. Okay, next. If you have 5 cavalry out on the first batch, you never want to be raiding with that early on if you are rushing. I've seen so many people doing that and they just totally screw up the whole team game. If you rush, you need to do damage early on. That means you don't raid the far guy on the left, for example the blue one, because they need your cavalry in the start to do enough damage. The idea is that if you rush like this, you want to overwhelm your opponent. Overwhelm by making many more units and preventing them to micro a lot and etc. Because keep in mind, they still have Minutemen, town center fire, defensive position, which is always an advantage. So in the start you don't raid. If you are German, you can raid with 2 Uhlans, but not more. Okay, this is okay. He was playing very well that game. This is also a very good move of him. This QG guy. Oh, I'm going back too much now. This is annoying. This stream was 8 hours, was too much. I can't go back and forth easily. It should come any moment. Here, of course, we are sieging the Rex. Aztecs is making a lot of pikemen, Puma, spearmen, things. We siege 1 Rex already, as you see here. It was way too much in front. Same for this one. He's going to lose it as well. Here, there's a little bit. There are a few mistakes. First of all, it's good that his pikemen siege the Rex, but oh wait, perfect. He's a good player as well. I forgot. Noblesse oblige. You see that he keeps sieging the Rex with his pikemen, except a few. Those 3 pikemen over here are gonna help me to catch this cavalry. 2 of my hussars are already attacking him. That means once you attack a unit, you're gonna slow it down. That means his pikemen have more chance of helping me and also damaging those cavalry. US Marines is sleeping a little bit over here because his cavalry is not attacking cavalry or raiding the bridge. You can in this case raid the bridge because the villages are closed and your cavalry can be used in the main battle. That's not the same as, for example, raiding the blue, as I explained before. However, his strelets are sieging. Strelets should never ever be sieging. Well, okay, should almost never ever be sieging. Strelets have, like, I don't know, a very noob siege attack, like 5 or 10 or not even 10, I don't know. Strelets should attack units, always. They have decent range. You should try to find units. In this case, there are here musketeers over here. Strelets should shoot those musketeers so that the musketeers can't shoot the pike and that the pike can kill the cavalry and etc. If there are no musketeers around, what you do with the strelets is you're gonna go a little bit down, like here, near a town center, or on the left side here. You're gonna try to find other units that are waiting over there for the right moment for them to attack. If there are no units around, you're gonna try to shoot villagers. But everything you're gonna do like in this circle, because you know that his pike will have to seize the Rex. So if you do it in this circle, you can always go back to the pikemen if some cavalry comes to you. But you always should try to find units you can attack, because strelets should attack units or villagers and not buildings, unless there's like nothing else around. But in this case there should be units around, like here musketeers and villagers. Okay, but that's more about micro in general, and I was now making a video about cavalry because I can talk for like a whole day about Age of Empires. What you see here, oh shit, it goes so fast. I try to micro my cavalry a little bit. This one is going around to, because these ones are already attacking the front cavalry. I try to give them different targets. I of course use my Alt key The Alt key is used to show the hit point bar, so you can see which cavalry has low HP. You want to kill that one first so that it doesn't do any more damage. Likewise, you want to save your cavalry with low HP, so you try to pull the low HP one back. So that's little micro battle going on, and then if you pull a low HP one back, they're probably going to try to follow it. But while they are trying to follow it, you can use all your other cavalry to attack them. So that's the micro that goes on there. Now I'm gonna wait for that moment where blue does his genius move. Okay, this. This is very interesting, and it's very good move. I've seen not many players do this, even on the higher level. I've done this myself a couple of times, but in general not many people do it. What you see here is that blue knows that the town center of red is under siege by a lot of cavalry and pikemen. Red is at this point, they decided to go 2 cavalry, by the way, and musketeers. Whether it's the bad choice or not is now a discussion, but that's how they're going to play this out for the moment. He knows that red is not able to shoot all the pikemen in time. That means that if he's going to send his cavalry over there, it's going to be pretty much useless. Assuming that we have decent micro, like I explained before, the pikemen are trying to target cavalry, etc. Especially since Ulan have a very good attack but low HP. So he also knows that my team, are not likely to kill the town center right away. So he has some time. What is the best thing to do? Like I said before, if you are playing cavalry, you should be the guy that is raiding and is active on the map. If you don't want to do that, then don't play cavalry. So what he is doing now is exactly that. He is active on the map. He knows that we are sending reinforcements to Red's town center, and he knows that one of those reinforcements is going to be Strelets, and perhaps even Mace. Mace Sultan, Mace, whatever I call it, Mace, the unit of Aztec that's like a Strelet, you know, ranged infantry. He knows that those are weak versus cavalry. So what he's trying to do here is running around with his cavalry, trying to pick off any units that he can. He has 2, 4, 6 or 7 Ulans, so he might even be able to pick off 5 of my hussars if I'm not careful. That depends of course where I fight, because here it's an open spot. If I fight near the blockhouse and war hut of the Aztecs, then they have bonus damage versus cavalry, so he doesn't want to fight there. But he tries to be active, and this is a very good move of him. He kills off like 10 Strelets because they run around without cover. Now you're gonna of course question yourself like, okay, how should he be playing it? That's a very tough one. The thing is, if the Aztecs is still making pikemen, they should go together, so that the pikemen can guard the Strelets until they're at the town center where the whole army is. But it's of course unlikely that they're gonna making the same units at the same time, etc. What they should know, however, is that up till this moment, blue hasn't been near the town center so far. So that means that they should know that and actually I should know as well. That there's not that there's some cavalry of blue somewhere else on the map. That means that he's either raiding, but we don't see any raids yet, or he's trying to do a move like he does now. Of course, when I see this happening, it's already too late, so I could send 5 cavalry back from the front attack, but that's not gonna be that useful. I also know that I have 5 cavalry finishing very soon here. So this is just a good move of blue and hard of us. I think if he walked via this side, he would have more chance of going to our main army without getting slaughtered, but it's very hard. Because you don't wanna, that's another thing, even if I know that blue has not been attacking yet, so he has some cav somewhere around the map, I don't want to be using my hussars to scout all around the map to find them, because then they are useless. You still want to be pushing the town center of red in this case to do as much damage as possible. Okay, very good move. Keep it in mind. Try to do those things as well. It will It will be appreciated by your teammates for sure. Okay, here we should actually go back. What you see now is okay, this is also a very good thing. Now that a lot of pikemen have been killed, he knows that it is with micro very good possible for the town center and musketeers to kill the remaining pikemen. So he is now coming back to this main fight because now he knows his cavalry, right, can be useful. Of course, you see he's microing back first the pikemen, etc. Very good moves of this guy. As often with high-level Japanese players, by the way. Here, oh yeah, this is a difficult thing. This is actually a bad move of me. I should have gone back here earlier, but at this point, I have to go back again. Okay, at this point, I probably should have seen this coming, so I should have moved my cavalry before. But at this point, it makes no sense to move out with those 4 hussars. They are gonna die anyway, so you might as well do as much damage as you can because they're not going to be saved even if you try to move around like this and try to run. Same for the Strelet. 4 are on low HP, they're going to be killed anyway. Just try to shoot as many musketeers. He saves his pikemen. That's very good because even though there's a lot of cavalry, he might have been able to use a few pikemen over here, I think. But there are musketeers here, you can see them on the minimap. There are musketeers on this side. That means that the cavalry will just micro versus pike. So they want to go in, the pikemen try to attack them, musketeers shoot the pikemen, cavalry goes back, etc. That keeps going on for a while. He knows that he should be going back now and wait for more infantry from the Russian guy. Also, you see, by the way, how crucial that move of QG was, because he killed off those 10 or 13 Strelets, and that means now there are no more Strelets. Okay. After 700 wood, I ship 700 gold here, not cavalry HP. Why is that, you might ask? Well, I have 2 things in my mind at the moment. First of all, there's not much cavalry left. That means that sending cav HP now is not that much, doesn't make that much of a difference. Also, looking at the scores, our rush was so-so. It wasn't a complete fail, but it wasn't a total success either. What I want to do here is make more units and try to keep the pressure on them, go for more raids, make more cavalry and get more map control. The 700 wood I shipped before. I make another stable. I think I missed it, but I probably have done steel traps already by now. The second food upgrade in the market. Anyway, I shipped 700 gold. I should move more villagers to food then, because I then can produce cavalry from 2 stables. Oh, I'm gonna do steel traps now, because I wanted to have 555 hussars out, as explained before. At this moment in time, it's perfect to go raiding. Why? We have done some damage, but we can't push in again right away. I also know that they can't easily push into us, because we have we have a blockhouse and a war hut, and we have, of course, units making, so it's almost impossible for them to push into that at this moment. So, perfect moment to go raiding and to hurt their economy, while we keep remassing and making a new army to push later on. I rate the German mainly here, because the more I rate the German, the less he can rate us with his annoying Ulan, etc. Also because he is very good with cavalry, as you saw before. Raiding German means oftentimes raiding gold mines, because Germany needs lots of gold for their Ulan. Okay. You see on top here that these are my control groups. 1 is main cavalry, 2 is raiding group 1. I don't know what that is actually now, but maybe it's a dead hero. And 3 is not a raiding group, and 5 is my stables. Okay, here I raid here. Okay, not the most successful raid. I don't kill it anyway. I probably should have gone from this side straight to the gold mine. That would be a better path, but okay, I guess I was busy with other things, I don't know. Here another thing, let me just quickly check. This I covered, this I covered. Okay, this is the next thing. If you are raiding and you get caught, or if you are getting raid and somehow you have less cavalry than him and you're getting caught as well by other cavalry, you want to try to escape with as many units as possible. In Age of Empires 3, if a unit gets attacked, it will be slowed down. That means that you can't escape with the whole group. Sorry, that is. So what you should do, in this case I have 2 hussars, and you see that this Ulan over here is attacking 1 hussar. What you want to do is turn one of them around, attack the Ulan, and then run with the other. In this case there's only 1 other left, but assume you have a group of 5. You know they're gonna catch you, or for example a group of 5 is walking here and other Ulans are coming from this side and you know they're gonna catch you. Select the back one, the one that's behind, and click to attack this Ulan over here, or in this case the Ulan over there. What happens is that you leave one behind, you sacrifice one of your cavalry, but you're gonna slow down their Ulans. That means the rest of your cavalry is able to escape, in this case this one, or if you have 5, the other 4. Okay, that's the basic thing. However, of course I'm not playing versus noobs, so they will try to manually micro and try to get the situation in their advantage again. So if I'm turning one of those cavalry around, what he should do is not select the whole group and try to attack the 4 that are moving away, because then the whole group is going to be slowed down by the 1 cavalry that I turned around. He should use 1 cavalry to attack the one of mine, or perhaps 2, and he should select the other ones manually to attack the second one in my line, and another one to attack the 3rd one in my line, another one to attack the 4th one in my line, etc. That way he will slow down all my cavalry, and while he has outmassed me, because that's the only reason why I want to run, else I would just pick the fight, he knows that if he slows down every one of my cavalry, in the end I have to fight, because I can't escape with them all. So that's a little bit of a micro battle going on. Unfortunately, I don't have that on a good video at the moment. I've already been trying to find out, to look for those, for what I'm showing you now. It takes a lot of time to find the right moments in the videos to talk about. But I explained it here, and I think a lot of you know what I mean. Maybe later on I can show you what I mean more specific. But it's a little bit of a micro battle going on between 2 cavalry players, and now you at least know the theory and what to do, and then you have to just try it out yourself. Okay. Here you see it. You see that one was attacking the Ulan and the other one was running away. As you see, I shipped 700 gold, so I put a lot of more fields on food now because I have the gold shipment, so I need to redistribute my villagers to get the right income. Here, Noblesse Oblige asked me, or asked us if we are ready. That means he thinks it's a good moment to push, obviously. What you see on the minimap is they are raiding us now. They are 2 cavalry, that sucks because we are not 2 cavalry, we are 2 infantry for this rush. Given the fact that my mate asked me if I'm ready, it probably means he thinks it's a good idea to attack. Also, it probably means he has more or less the right amount of units out as he can at this moment. Or your mate is just not good at deciding when or not to push, but in this case I think he has quite good insight into that. You see here on the minimap that Shuruji, whatever you pronounce these names, man, it's always a pain in the ass for me. Light blue, he is raiding with 2 groups, one on purple, one on yellow, and blue is raiding me. That's very perfectly done. It's good team play because you don't want to be all raiding the same guy, you want to spread it out. Because we want to push out, I'm not gonna send cavalry back because they have too much cavalry running around. It's unlikely for me to catch them all now. So it's better to push out because we have a good army, that's at least what I assume. Also, they have a big part of their army out on the map raiding. So it's best for us to just hide in your town center for like 10-20 seconds, so that you don't take damage from the raids, and you push out and pressure on red in this case. In this situation, to be honest, I think they raided with too much. That's what you're gonna see later. This is a critical moment because, as I said before, it's unlikely for me to catch it, and because they have so much cavalry out raiding, they have very few units to defend. So that means you should go and push out and do damage. Okay. There's 3 cavalry. Here you see 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8 cavalry even. This is exactly what I told you before. This is also very interesting. I'm of course a decent player. I will react on time in most situations. So will a lot of other people. Why do you send 8 Ulan? Because you can, with 4 or 5, you can do almost as much damage in most situations. And now you have so much idle cavalry, or not idle, but cavalry that you can't use in the main fight, which is going to happen any second here, because they're on the other side of the map. If you would send like 4 or 5 Ulan, you would also make sure that I would have to hide in my town center, because of course villagers die to 4 or 5 Ulan also very quickly. One thing to keep in mind, that's one thing I haven't told you about yet, I think. The cavalry HP versus attack I covered before, that should be active. Raiding is very important because you prevent your opponent from getting a good economy. Raiding is most effective during main battles, during big battles, during main fights, because everyone is focused on the big fight. They're gonna try to micro their units, the skirmishes on the musks, the pikemen on the cavalry, and not trying to waste cavalry and pikemen, etc. They're very focused on the frontal battle. So if you raid at that point, they are less likely to see it on time, so you will probably do more damage. That's why I prefer to raid often during a big battle. Just with like 2 or 3 hussars, whatever, you do more damage than you would do in normal raids, because then they are watching it, keeping an eye on the mini-map to watch out for raids coming. Okay, so let's go on with this. I'm not going to go through the whole 8 hours, by the way. I'm just going to show you this game, so no worries. Here you see he did no damage, actually, just prevent me from gathering resources. That is also damage, by the way, that's very good, but he didn't kill any villagers. Okay, here you see they have less cavalry in the main battle. Oh yeah, also, I think I told that somewhere in the chat, I don't know, but as I said before, it's a strategy game. Strategy games mean you have to adapt and anticipate. Early on he was making strelets. He kept making strelets for a little bit too long, in my opinion, so I told him somewhere along the way, go for musketeers. They were 2 cavalry, and Red, the British, was making musketeers. So why would you keep making strelets? That means you are too weak to cavalry. So it's better to go musketeers. They can also shoot by musketeers of Red, and you are not so weak versus 2 cavalry. Okay, so he made more musk now, as you saw there, and soon again. Okay, here is some micro going on. Here of course, I'm not gonna go into all the details, but oh, shit. Go back to the main. Oh, I'm too far? No. Oh wait, this is the raid, okay. Just a second, then we're gonna go back to the fight we had before. I'm gonna pause it on time. Also, what you see here is that I'm not gonna ring the alarm bell and put every villager in there. I'm trying to estimate how fast his cavalry will go from A to B, and how much time I need to put in my villagers, and try to gather as long as possible. I manually selected this group and put it in my town center. Only when I saw that he was coming around like this and tried to turn back, I select this group and put it in my town center as well. Meanwhile, here on the map, I still have villagers gathering, because there's nothing there, so of course you just want to keep that gathering. As soon as he's gonna leave, you try to put them out and put them back to work again. Also, you see I'm sending 700 food here. That's because I want to keep up the double stable cavalry spam. You have to keep an eye, by the way, on this raid, because good players will often come back again with like half their cavalry, for example 3 or 4, to keep again coming at your resources, so to prevent you from gathering, because they know that if they've come there, if they've been there once, you might not be how you say that, you might not look there again in a few seconds, so they can do more damage if they come back. Also, what I often do, by the way, a little trick. Suppose that I'm the blue guy, I'm coming into his town center, that's here, you can see my mouse. I'll send like my cavalry back to the main battle, because that's what you want to do, obviously. But then I send like 4 or 5 cavalry to this point, then I shift click and send them back to the town center, or to the gold mine, for example, or to this food, to the point where I know that they will likely do damage. Meanwhile, I can micro my other raiding groups, or my main cavalry in battle, and like 10-20 seconds later my cavalry will show up there again. It's just, and then you can of course move your view there and micro it again, but it's just a little trick, so you need less focus there, because it will go automatically. Okay, here, yeah, what I want to show is there's just some basic micro going on. Musketeers should of course shoot other musketeers. Pikemen on the cavalry, mace on the, not sieging, but on the musketeers as well. If any cavalry comes close, his musketeers should try to shoot it. Okay, basic things. Oh yeah, now let me see what's gonna happen. Yeah, it's a stream game, so I'm only able to show you my view, but as you see, we are quite easily winning this battle over here. That is mainly because we did damage to the British earlier. See the score, for example. But also because, as I told you before, they raided with a lot of units. I believe it was 8 of the blue guy and like 6 or so from the Shiriji light blue guy. That's a lot of units. So we had a good push there. At this point there's still some cavalry of me, but I see that they are mainly owning this town center together. What I then do is I'm gonna catch the raids, so they can gather again and get up the economy like they should. So I sent 5 cavalry back there, as you see on the map here, to catch the raids. Now for some reason he still has strelets and not so many musketeers, I don't know why. Okay, they're going back, as they should. I'm catching the cavalry there. Oh, that's another thing, by the way. I saw that he had 4 cavalry, so I sent 5. You always have to estimate how much you need to send, because you don't want to send too many. If you send too many, that means you are having useless cavalry there, because they would be much better at, for example, the main battle, or use 2 of them to raid on some other spot on other place on the enemy's resources. If they have 4 cavalry, you usually can send 4 as well, because you always have the defender's advantage of having town center fire. But never send like all cavalry back, or like if you see 5 cavalry raiding, don't send 8 back or 10. That's just stupid. Okay, here I'm catching all the cavalry. Keep making the hussars, of course. Okay, the US Marines guy, our Russian, is a little bit hurt in economy. I think that he lost fills to the raid, more than he should, not sure. Anyway, it's Russia, you can always boom again later. Here, the blue guy, again, this is also a good move. He just comes in and tries to check out, are there any free strelets I can get? Are there any free maces I can get? If not, just go back and you might get 2-3 shots. If you can kill a bunch of the army, and that's always a good thing. I send my cavalry back, because I'm not sure yet if we want to push or not. However, at the same time, you see on the left side, I'm gonna raid with probably 3 or 4 hussars there. Oh, it's only 2. Okay, this is also an important thing. If you play this game more, you know, like some timings at when you should be raiding, when and where. For example, for German, he is probably at this time out of his gold, so he needs other gold mines. I was already out of my gold mine, by the way, so he should be as well. That means he's trying to gather gold elsewhere on the map. And since we are, again, this was a decent high level game, we are raiding a lot, so he knows he has to build a tower. So you try to prevent him from making towers on the map so he can securely gather there. So you try to raid those places. This is one gold mine I try to raid. I see the villager, immediately you try to catch it. So you prevent the mine from going up, the tower from going up. Okay, this is also interesting. Here I'm not gonna run away. I'm not gonna attack his cavalry either. I want to take down the settler. Not only because I prevent him from building the tower now, he has to send a new settler, but also because you kill a settler wagon, and the settler wagon is worth a lot. It gathers fast, so you want to kill a settler wagon anytime you can. I'm happy to trade, in this case, 2 hussars for preventing a tower from going up and killing a settler wagon. Also, before the moment where I am now, I see... This is the anticipation thing I was talking about earlier. I sent 2 cavalry here because I was just raiding, like... trying to see if I can raid and do a little bit of damage, because I wasn't sure yet if we were gonna push out again or what we were gonna do if they would come to us, because their scores were decent compared to us. In fact, their scores are much better, as you see right top. So I sent 2 cavalry to raid. I know that he is a good player. That means as soon as he sees this, he will send his cavalry to catch mine. He will send more than 2 because he wants to make sure he will catch my cavalry and try to get the tower up. So, while knowing that he would probably do that, anticipating that, I already sent the rest of my cavalry there, because there is probably going to be a big battle over here between 2 cavalry guys. So, you see here on the minimap, my cavalry is coming over here. Now what is very interesting, well, everything is interesting of course. Here you see what... separates a good player from a very good player from the good players. You see on the minimap that without me having done any signaling or writing, because I often write a lot to communicate and coordinate my team, because that's often needed. You see that yellow is moving on the map already. He sees I'm raiding. He probably has the same thought as me, and that is that blue is gonna send his cavalry over there to secure that tower and the gold mine. So he is already sending his pikemen over here to help me battle the German. Because when the German sees that's another second like anticipation thing. First I send 2 hussars. I expect him to send more, so I send more of mine. When he sees this coming, he's gonna send more of his. He's probably gonna ask light blue to also send his cavalry there. So we need the pikemen from, in this case, the Aztecs to help battle the cavalry. Okay, here we take down the tower, we done the damage. Yeah, I think we can go back, but not sure yet what we do here. I'll probably go back and keep raiding a little bit on the other spots, because we don't want to attack yet, because we still need some more units. Oh, there you see it going on the left side here. I'm gonna use this cavalry to go to the other gold mine, because I know I just prevented him from gathering at that gold mine. That means he has to get on the gold mine, and here you see it on the left side. I'm raiding that gold mine. And just 2 cavalry, maybe 4 would have been better to kill a little bit more, but I only want to do a little bit of damage, draw him out of position, so we can again attack the main front, and that is Red Stone Center. Also you see that yellow signal that they were raiding him. I did see it here, but it's always good to signal so your mates know what's going on. In this case I said OTW, that means on the way. That means he will know that I have cavalry coming. Sometimes I will say soon, or like not now, or whatever, or I say nothing. That means that he that I think at that point it's better to use my cavalry somewhere else. That could be in the main battle, or it could be raiding somewhere else to do much more damage. Anyway, he then knows that he has to hide in his town center just for a little bit longer, because I will come a little bit later. Or in this case he knows I will be on the way, and that means he can probably go out with his villagers faster than he would normally do, because I will come and catch the cavalry. Notice, by the way, I saw 4 or 5 hussars of light blue, so if everything goes right, and I do as I told before, I will probably send 5 or 4 of my own and not anything more. So let's see what happens. Oh, I already had 2 hussars on the map. Okay, well 2 is debatable, of course. I know that there's the town center fire of my mates, so I don't need like 4 and they're already damaged, but I think I should have sent 3 to better catch it. Anyway, on the left side again, you saw that I was killing here his villagers, but I didn't go all the way to his town center, I went back. This is an important thing. You want to try to do damage, but damage is done in 2 ways. Either the first way is to prevent him from gathering resources, that's what I already done. The second thing is to kill his villagers. But by now, I know that he's again a good player, I know that he has seen me, I know that he has cavalry on the way, I don't want to lose my cavalry at this point. So I prefer to send it back, maybe even with a shift click like I explained before. So I send it back over here and I probably come back there again later. If he is expecting something like that, which I doubt, but okay, now everyone of you knows how I do this thing. Even if he expects it, he has to keep some cavalry there to guard the mine. If not, he's gonna move away again, raid somewhere else, use his cavalry somewhere else on the map, and I can come back and raid him again on that spot later on. Okay, we wanna push out again here. We have decent army now. There's still 2 cavalry. Okay, I told this before, maybe in another video. The British should have now, they're both British, but light blue by now should have added musketeers. He should not have stayed hussars for so long. But okay, that's how it is. We're gonna go on here. What you see here is that I'm still catching the raid. Here, I want to go back to this point. Pause. Shit. Here here you saw that my hussars were going back and his villagers were not there. He was probably too afraid that I would raid him there again. So his villagers are probably on one of those other mines. So that means that knowing this, we should soon after this push somewhere else again there or raid there. Because he has to gather his gold somewhere. Okay, here I was going back to this main fight. You saw red has a lot of musketeers here. However, I still kept attacking them. We had a good army, as you see here. I didn't want his musketeers to run away and wait for their mates to catch up and attack all together. If you can isolate a player and attack him alone with the 3 of you, it's almost always good to do so. I had a lot of cavalry, so it's not a problem for me to lose some HP, because I want to catch those musketeers and with my cavalry while they were also shooting at them as well. So this is always a good trade. It's not about doing good trades and knowing when and where. I still guard that gold mine there, which means he has to build a tower there or catch it. Okay, this is also very interesting. We are pushing again into the town center. What do you do as the team? You see a lot of cavalry from me, you see a lot of pikemen from the Aztecs, and you see a lot of musketeers from the Russian. That means you know that your 2 cavalry is not going to be able to kill that. So by this time, as I said before, the other British light blue should have already changed to musketeers. However, he did not, so that's how it is. At this point, they know red is going to lose his town center. They can't do much about it. If they're going to go there and attack, they're probably going to lose the town center and almost all of their cavalry. Meanwhile, they still have decent scores, the team, so they're not out of it yet. So what is the best move for them to do? I wonder who of them coordinated this. Maybe it's a team thing. Maybe blue said, "Come on, let's go." I think blue said, "Come on, let's go over here." Anyway, what they should do is either of 2 things, or actually both. They should raid us now very hard on all spots, because red is gonna lose his town center anyway. They want to do damage to us, and they want to attack our main base, and that's exactly what they're doing now. They have a lot of cavalry. They can kill villagers with that, they can move around with it quickly, and they can kill, like you see here, they can kill our base very quickly as well. That means we lose map control. That's one good thing for them. Also, Russia and perhaps Aztec, I'm not sure, are gonna lose their ability to train units, so they have to make a new barracks or outpost, war hut, blockhouse, whatever thing on the map. Okay, so what do I do here? Like I said, anticipation, adapting, changing around. I see that yellow and purple are just getting the TC down of red, so that's good. Nothing for me to do there. I see that blue is owning the front base from us. They have 2 cavalry, I am only 1 cavalry. Of course some pike might go back, but I doubt we will get it, or they will just run. And if you, by the time I'm there, they might just be somewhere else on the map raiding, so then it's just going to be a cat and mouse game, which is not in our advantage. So what I do with all the cavalry I have is I'm going to raid them hard. You see I make 2 big groups. One is over here near this gold mine, and the other is on the minimap here near the town center of light blue. I'm going to raid them hard, forcing them to come back and to cover their own economy. I had some new cav training still. I'm going to use that to delay them from coming back. Yellow is probably sending some pike. Okay, I'm gonna raid here. This is not the best engagement for me. I should perhaps come back, but okay, so much going on at the moment. Here I'm killing a lot of villagers. He helps with some pikemen, as you see. Very good move again of the Aztecs. He's always on the map where he should be. That's very important as a team player. It's not easy. They kill the town center, damage done, go back and rebuild your own economy up. Oh, here you're gonna see an example of what I mean with the catching thing and running away. 1 cavalry I turn around, attack his group, and with the other I'm gonna run away. Here you see the little micro battle going on. He keeps 2 of his hussars attacking that 1 cavalry, and the other ones are gonna run around trying to catch my cavalry here. And they are, I think, barely gonna succeed, so I have to leave 1 behind again, I think. Yes, you see they catch 1 again, so I have to leave 1 behind and run with the other. That's the game you keep playing. They trying to catch you by manually moving their cav to you and not in one group, and you trying to save as many as possible. You have to get that practiced as being the cavalry guy, because that's very important. Here we have the same problem. We hurt red a lot. He has not many musketeers left. They still have 2 cavalry, so they can't really attack us if I go with my mate's pike and my cavalry. Also, what you see that I sometimes do, I'm not a robot, so I also make mistakes. Here I have too few food and too much gold. Interesting, by the way, because I have around the same amount of villagers on both resources, and food should gather faster than gold. Anyway, I have too few food and too much gold. I just buy some food in my market because I have the resources anyway, and in the start it's not that bad to do so. Only later on, when you have to pay like 1/3 more or so, it's bad, but early on it's okay. Especially for converting gold to wood, because wood gathers slower. But anyway, I want to make more cavalry because it's a close game still. I want to control the map, raid hard, etc. So I want to have my cavalry out and as many as possible. So there we go. Here he helps me with... oh yeah, and also I don't want to age yet. Of course dragoons are very good, but I still want to have some more map control first and not let them boom, or the British add musketeers, etc. Here you see, this is the key point in the map. I told you before, they have to gather somewhere. You see that they're going to build as many towers as they can, as it seems. So we have to take control of this part and prevent them from gathering gold and other food and stuff. So they have to go on mills and slower income and etc. The other gold mine there you see is exhausted. It's out. I still try to raid there. I raid the British now. Okay, now I finally do my second gold upgrade. I think it's a little bit late, but anyway. British is finally adding musketeers, as you see here. If we would done that before, I think it would be a totally different game. Okay, QG has aged. German at some point need to age. They need to coin 1k coin shipment, 9 Ulan shipment, or just age again. They can't stay second age forever, in my opinion. Okay, here everyone comes to this main central point now because we need to take control of this part. There are a lot of resources here, gold and food. Sometimes I just type 2 weird things because I'm microing being everywhere on the map, and I also have to tell something. Of course, they probably know that they should micro how I tell them to. Not every player does it always correctly, or they just watch somewhere else and they forget about it. So then I tell them, okay, look there and fix your micro. Because if they don't shoot the musketeers, my cavalry will die too fast. A lot of towers going up there, as you see. They're trying to take control of the middle part. Here again I'm buying some food, making the 10 hussars at a time still. Raiding at the time also. As a cavalry guy, you keep raiding. Here you see my teammate is signaling that I should raid over there. He saw something I haven't seen yet. Also very good. Help your mates, point them out to locations they should be. Always try to keep raiding as a cavalry guy, but always keep some units for main battles, like you see in the middle here. If they add infantry like longbowmen, skirmisher, that kind of stuff, you want to help them kill it. Also, if they siege a tower or something like that, you want to kill the villagers that come out. Here you see that I'm raiding now with bigger and bigger groups. I told you before, early on, don't raid with too many. But here, my cav is not that useful in this middle battle, at least not too much, because he has his war wagons, there were musketeers from the British, there were towers, etc. So they have to handle it together for the moment. It's much better if I'm now gonna get our map control further extended and keep raiding. Here, oh yeah, a wonderful move again, I have to admit it. He sends 5 pikemen to help me to siege the tower. It's so perfect. It goes much faster if he helps me than if I siege with cavalry. Of course, I lose less cavalry as well. Again, he is everywhere on the map where he should be this game. He is playing a very good game. I raid here with more cavalry, like 10, because I know I have to siege towers. And I want to catch the villagers. If I raid with like 5, I'll probably not be able to siege a tower, or I lose too many, or it takes too long. That's also a thing. I want to be quickly and move around, kill something, move on. If it takes too long, they can respond to it, and not good for me. So, I see he's gathering gold at that mine again. I should raid it probably. Maybe something is on the way. Ah yes, my cavalry is already on the way there. Meanwhile, I keep raiding with this group. I move away because I don't want to engage into the musketeers at this point. It's much more useful to raid with the cavalry. Here I'm gonna raid there. They keep sieging towers, very good. I keep killing villagers here. Maybe I should go back versus all the war wagon, not sure. Okay, I'm finally gonna age. Good time. We have the map. We prevent them from getting the map, that's also very important. As you see, I'm very active everywhere. I'm here, this side, I'm here bottom, I'm there in the middle, and I'm raiding here. I hope I don't talk too fast, by the way, because sometimes I have that issue. Okay, here there's a lot of villagers we see with our outpost, or I don't know, war hut. I send my cavalry here, and the fact that he's losing so many villagers is just probably going to be game over. I see that I'm not going to be able to build a tower, so what do? You try to save the villager, click it somewhere on the map and move it away. Delete the tower, because then you get some resources back. If they kill it, you don't get resources back. He loses a lot of villagers, that's probably game ender for him, yes. I think the mates are not yet... They don't yet see that their mate has resigned, not sure. Meanwhile, my Russia mate also has aged. It's good that Aztec doesn't age too fast, by the way, because as you see, his pikemen are very useful in combining with my cavalry in the main battle, so that my cavalry does much better versus the other cavalry, because they can't directly engage because I have pikemen with me. Also, they keep helping to siege the towers around the map and prevent them from getting map control. I ship 1k wood here because I want to make town centers, get my economy a little bit better, take map control with the town centers near gold mines and stuff. I keep raiding everywhere. Here you see I make 2 groups, I split them up manually. Of course, while I'm H3, I make some goons for the war wagon and Ulan and hussars of the British. It's usually the unit you make as French. Yeah, okay, so here now it's over. You see also that they might, sometimes they couldn't really help Red, their mate, because they had 2 cavalry or too few anti-cavalry versus our musk and pikemen. Then they should really sometimes have raided a little bit more and do things like they did with killing our front page, etc. But when you see that I'm raiding Red, he has only musketeers. If his mates don't... Okay, here they say past Red. I don't know why, because Red is a good player. He gave up silent. Okay, well, it was kind of a good game anyway. Game over at least. Red is a good player. I team with him any time probably, but I don't know what happened there. Anyway, what I was telling you about, if I raid with several groups, they have to catch it. It's always hard to catch 3 groups, harder to catch 3 groups instead of 1 group. Also, the British guy, Red, was making musketeers. Musketeers are slower than cavalry, so if I raid, for example, like I did here, I raided here near this outpost, I went around, I raided in the middle here. It's hard for him to catch me like that, so his mates really have to help him catch my raiding cavalry. So not only is your job as cavalry to raid a lot, you always have to catch raids to help secure the map, secure the resources of your team, and to make sure your team is not losing too many villages and can gather the resources. So that was a lot of information. Let me see, I think I've covered pretty much everything. The build orders were mainly for French, like how you can do it, how you can get your cavalry out. The key points are then, if you don't think you can get 5 cavalry out, just delay the first cavalry like a few seconds to make sure you get 5 out. Balance your villagers so that you have enough resources, food and gold. Don't send all your cavalry to raid, because as explained before, it might be dangerous. You might lose your main battle and economy and villagers. It's very important to prevent resource gathering. You don't always have to kill villagers, just keep coming back, keep raiding. Don't lose your cavalry, but keep coming back at the spots where they have to gather gather resources. Try to estimate how many cavalry you have to get a raid of your opponent. Don't send every cavalry there. I see it so often. There's a raid with like 3 or 4 Ulan and people send like 10 cavalry back. If you do those kind of things too often, you lose the game because you have too much idle units on the map, not being useful. If you raid, try of course to raid also with 2 or 3 hussars or whatever during the main battle, because that's when it's most effective. Keep in mind, if you are a defender, you always have a defender's advantage. For example, the town center shooting, the Minutemen, the positioning, the war hut, etc. So you can have 2 or 3 units less in battle. If you are pushing and rushing, you can't always afford to have 1, 3, 4 less units in battle, because if they have all their units there, you're gonna lose the push, and therefore you wasted economy for a push that's not gonna work. So be careful with that. HP card better if you are alone, of course. If you are in team, like last game, German and British both were going cavalry. German should send team cavalry relatively early. Be active on the map, catch raids, be raiding, try to cut off reinforcements like you saw QG doing with the Strelets. Those things really make a difference in team games and can win you games. Later on, of course, use more cavalry to raid if you see spots where they probably have not built a tower yet, so you can kill a lot of villages with more. If you use like 10 hussars instead of just 3, or you can kill a tower very fast before they are coming to you and trying to kill you. So that game is more or less covered, I think. Yeah, teal, light blue, whatever, it's the same, man. Okay, then one more thing I wanted to show, I think. It was from a recorded game where I played German. Of course, if you want to play cavalry, play French or German. That's the best civilization for those. German is a special civilization. It can be, if you play it good, it can be very strong. But if you play it like too standard, it's might be too a little bit weak in a way. The advantage for German is that they always have free ulans with their shipments. Keep in mind though that in big battles it matters how many units you have as well as how you micro them. Ulan have very good, very high damage output. That means that once they get close, they do very well. However, if you keep going back and forth, because they are pikemen, for example, you can't run into that, you have to go back, your mates shoot the pikemen, etc. You lose HP every time you do that, because all the units of your opponent keep shooting at your Ulan as well. If you do that for too long, that means you have no Ulan left. If you are the Hussar guy, you have a little less attack, but you have much more HP. So you can do this micro thing, like going back and forth, going in and out, trying to lure the pikemen so your mates can shoot them. You can do that much longer. You have to know that if you want to approach battles, because this is an essential thing. This means that approaching the battle with a German mate as going the cavalry, or approaching a battle with a French mate, is different. You have to try to set up a position so that the German guy has to go back like 1 or 2 times perhaps, and not like 5, 6, 7 times. He has to be able to attack, to do the damage. If not, you're probably going to lose it. And another thing, an Ulan costs 100 gold and 50 food, that's 150. A Hussar costs 120 food and 80 gold, that's 200. So if you make 5 Hussars and he has 5 Ulan, you should be able to beat him, because you put in more resources. That's where Ulan train a little bit faster and cost a little bit more, so in the long run he should be able to have as many Ulan as you have Hussars, because more Ulan than you have Hussars, because they train a little bit faster and they cost less, so then it's a little bit even. But in the start, if you both make 5-5, you have 5 Hussars and he has 5 Ulan, or you have 10 Hussars, he has 10 Ulan. But he gets his free shipments. He is free Ulan per shipment, so it's usually like 5 plus 2 versus 5, and then it's like 10 plus 4 versus 10. That way it's even out, and that's where you have to make decisions as German. Do you use your 2 Ulan for raiding, or do you use your 2 Ulan in the main battle? Because with decent micro, 7 Ulan is going to beat 5 Hussars. I often prefer to send the first Ulan to raid, like actually almost always. You saw QG doing it as well to our front base. You can do so much damage with it. You can actually prevent your opponent from getting a good mess out, because they have to deal with it. They either have to go inside the town center, or they have to send some 2 Hussars back. Remember, you don't send 5 back, you send just 2 back to deal with the raid. Meanwhile, you can play a little bit more defensive, so that means you raid a lot, but you stay defensive, because you know you have a little less cavalry in the main battle, and you want to use your defensive position, your Minutemen, your town centers, your faster reinforcements, etc. And then it's still going to be fine. So, especially as German, I would say use those 2 cavalry from the cards almost always to raid or to catch raids, and keep the main Ulans for the main battles. Because in the end, in the long run, the idea is that you do damage either by killing villagers or preventing them from making from gathering resources with those Ulan. So that means that in the long run, it's not going to be 5-5-5 Ulan versus 5-5-5 Hussars, but for example 5-5-5, so 15 Ulan versus 5-4 Hussars or something like that, because you hurt his economy. And that's where you can excel as German. Raid a lot, be annoying, prevent them from gathering resources, and then at some point you outmass them and you strike hard, and you have many more Ulans than they have Hussars. Or you age up, because you can do so freely and get Ulan upgrades, shipment, 1k coin, etc. Okay, the last thing I'm going to show you guys now is from a recorded game. It was a pretty good game if I remember. I'm playing with the small clown here, petite clown. French guy. We are Russian and German, and they are, oh yeah, mirror, Russia, German. Oh, actually I talk so much, but it's much better than writing everything. In the other videos I was writing a lot, but my hands were dying then. Okay, the reason I want to show this actually is just because I talked a lot about cavalry and raiding, but I was always talking from a French perspective, and of course there's German as well. Unfortunately I don't have a good, well, I do have some videos where I play German, but I don't remember which one, and it takes so much time to find a good moment for you to commentate on, so I'm just gonna use this recorded game now. I'm gonna fast forward here a little bit because this is all standard. I'm gonna turn fog of war on. You see that I'm scouting. Always you have to scout the map carefully. Too many people scout in a bad way and then they miss some kind of gold mine, and that's just can be the end of the game. You want to scout around your back where the food is that you're gonna hurt, here where a possible extra gold mine will be, etc. Go. Also, scouting is so important in team games, in actually any game, also one-on-one. You have to know what your opponents are doing. You always have some kind of basic strategy figured out for yourself, but you have to adapt. If he scouts you, which he will probably do, he will try to counter your strategy. That means you have to scout him and try to figure out what he is doing, so you can counter him again. We are playing defensive here. You see his blockhouse goes up quite close to our base. I'm gonna turn this off now. Okay, you see they're they're playing aggressively. That Russia is going for 2 blockhouses. Okay, and the German. Okay. They are playing it not so aggressively because German is not sending 5 Ulan or anything. They just want to get map control, and probably he's gonna want to mass a lot of musketeers and then push out. But they do get this middle map size. That's also always good. I like Russia a lot, but I have to say that oftentimes the defender has an advantage if everything is done well, micro, etc. As long as you have decent resources left, else you just have to rush. But here you see we have resources left. Why is the defender an advantage? For example, you can keep raiding them because you have defender's advantage. That's kind of a, how you say that, visual circle reasoning. I'll come back to that point in a little bit, but you can keep raiding them. That's very important. Why you have an advantage as a defender? Okay, you can see them coming. You can you can adapt to what you see, and you have the town center fire, the Minutemen, like 2 times here. You have the option to fight in a position you like to fight in. You have a blockhouse or perhaps 2 blockhouses that shoot. And don't forget, by the way guys, a blockhouse does 30 damage, but it does 45 damage to cavalry. Well, a little bit less because of the resistance, but it does more damage to cavalry. So if you micro correctly, that means aiming blockhouses at cavalry first, usually, or pikemen if it's no other choice, if you have no other choice, you're gonna do a lot of damage, especially to low HP Ulan. So defenders are always in a good spot. Okay, I'm gonna play fast. I'm going for the more economy thing, so I send 3 settler wagons. Of course I get 2 Ulans. What you see here is that I'm first gonna kill his explorer because I don't want him to be scouting around, so they get information from us. I don't want that, so I'm gonna kill his explorer. And then they're gonna raid, like I said before. There they go. The other Ulans, this is also important. Oh yeah, I see that he's raiding my mate. The other Ulans are not gonna sit here being idle doing shit. They're gonna help my mate get the raids. Here we're both going for a little bit more economy style. That means we want to defend. I want to help him defend versus raids while I raid the other guy. You see a lot of dead food here. You know that he's gonna get it there. Okay, here I'm gonna come in. This means that he... okay, now I'm gonna have some kills. That's always good. Like I said, two things. You're gonna prevent him from gathering because he has to go into his town center. That means he's gonna be able to make less musketeers because he has less food. That means that if we defend, we have less units against us, so our defense is only going to be better. Thus, raiding is very important. Also, I'm going to kill some villagers here probably. I know what I'm doing here, not watching there. This is not so good. I kill... okay, that sucks. I damaged 2 villagers, I killed nothing. I should have been able to kill at least 1. On the other hand, if I come back again here, those villagers are damaged, and of course I can try to take them down. But this is has other consequences for him as well, because he now knows there's 2 cavalry there, raiding. I should go back already, I know. Why should you stay here so long? It makes no sense. As soon as his villagers go inside, go back again, save your cavalry, wait here, and come back 30 seconds later. Save your cavalry is much better, because you can be annoying for a much longer period of time. Anyway, I lose one of them. The other one, I really hope I'm gonna send him back. Okay, finally I send him back. Let's just see if he dies. Okay, he stays alive. This is very. This is actually, I did it very bad. If I would have 2 cavalry alive here, so I would have gone back earlier. That means it would be much more of a threat for him. And that means that he would probably have to send 2 or 3 Ulan back to deal with my cavalry. And that's always good, because then we have less units to face in our defense. Anyway, they push out. This is again, he has 2 blockhouses in defense. They can all target cavalry, that's pretty good. His position is also decent. These musketeers are blocking the cavalry. They can also go to the other side for this cavalry. What I'm doing here, well, I'm just trying to delay as much as possible, because the longer the fight goes, the more we have an advantage, because we make units from this, and this is very close. We still can call out Minutemen. The blockhouses keep firing, so I don't want to engage directly into musks here, into melee mode. Melee mode was it? Okay. You see that he shipped 5 Cossacks, while my Russian mate did not. I think he should have, but okay, anyway, he did not. Here, you see it, I draw out the units a little bit to the back. These units are still over here. Now I have to face only like half of his army. Then it's a good moment for me to attack, because I get a good surround. That's annoying, someone shout. I get a good surround on his unit, so this is a perfect spot for me to fight. So here I'm gonna fight. You see he's gonna pull back. I keep fighting here because I have enough cavalry, and just Russian musketeers are weaker. Okay, actually here he has too few musketeers, he has too many strelets, because they are going for full musketeers and cavalry, so they are not weak versus cavalry. We are. I think he should have had more musketeers, and if he had Cossacks to block, it would be much better as well. However, on the other side, I should have probably used some of his cavalry to go here and block this cavalry for him. Anyway, there's 2 blockhouses shooting, does so much damage. Meanwhile, I go back here again to raid. Not that successful, because there's only 1 Ulan left, and in 1 shot NTC kills it. Town center kills it. Here it might seem we lost, but don't forget we were going in the economy thing. He sent 5 Ulan before 3 settler wagons. I said 3 settler wagons, then 2 settler wagons, and then, as you see, 5 Ulan. So I have much more economy than him, so I will be able to produce more Ulan now. Of course, I pull these ones back, because I not want to fight this. I wait for a good moment to fight. That's also important. Don't waste your cavalry. Cavalry is an important unit. Can tank a lot of damage. No need to waste it when you should not. I know I have 5 Ulan shipment coming, 5 Ulan making. Let him just run around and get hit by blockhouses. Let him do some stupid things. I know what he's doing. Here I can attack because 5. Yeah, they are coming out. I know that. He sent his Cossack to catch the raid. He made a wall here. I don't really like that, but okay. It's part of the game. I usually don't. Here I'm gonna catch his cavalry first because before I'm gonna raid him. I make 2 groups. This is group 1 trying to catch it, and the other group should help soon. There they go. They're gonna go this. Okay, how should you do this? I have 1 group coming from this direction. So if he's gonna go here, this way, there are musketeers standing over here. If he goes back, my group catches him. The only way he can go is like this way or this way. If he goes this way, I need my group to cut him off. So I'm gonna, oh there you see the flag. I'm gonna point him towards here, and then probably towards here, towards here. You wanna catch them. Okay, well he is gonna do that now, okay. No need to bother. You see, I know this is gonna be fixed. This group is gonna go for a raid now. We are fine, we defended it. I have cavalry here, new cavalry trading. Now I send team cavalry attack. Debatable, I don't know. I think I should have sent cavalry HP before attack, but okay. Maybe this game was from a longer time ago. Okay, I'm gonna raid here with the Uhlans. I killed the villager over there. He now knows there's Uhlan raids coming, so they have to respond. They have to send something back because else they just keep getting raided and they can't get it. Meanwhile we push out. You see we have a good mass. We had more economy in the start. Their rush kind of failed. Mainly because even though the first 2 Uhlans of me, they were not that successful, but they made sure a lot of villagers went into the town center, stayed there for a little bit, then had to go back. That's a lot of time wasted and a lot of less resources gathered. Also I have more economy than the other guy, so more Uhlans here. Same for Russia, so we push in here. What you want to do here is of course attack the Uhlans first, musketeers and musketeers. Some micro going on. Okay, here the other group was still raiding. This group kept raiding here, then they were going inside, so I raided the German. Then I'm going to the side. Then we were still attacking here, and now you see at this moment I know, okay, this is fixed, he can get this, I don't need to be here. What do you do next? You go for it with your Uhlan and you raid the villages. You see all those dead bodies here. Unfortunately not SC2-like animations, but anyway, you see that I killed some villagers, and you're gonna use your cavalry to be active on the map and to raid them. These ones should probably go around and raid here. Oh, they're gonna do that now. With these ones I'm gonna raid here because I know I saw. Okay, that's also important. You have to be active on the map, like I told you. Part of doing that is by doing a lot of raiding. With the raiding, I scouted here, I think, yes, and I saw that his gold mine was almost out. That means he has to go for another gold mine. And I scouted the map, obviously, because I told in the start scouting is important, so every one of you guys have scouted the map. I know that he must be gathering gold there, so I'm gonna raid there with a lot of Uhlans. I don't need the Uhlans in the main battle, because I know he will have to respond to me now. And he has, my mate has a lot of musketeers, so he is not weak to any cavalry. So if he doesn't respond to me, that is fart, if he doesn't respond to me and goes here, my mate can always go back in a relatively safe way by shooting, running and doing a lot of damage to the cavalry. Okay, so here you see I'm raiding him. He has many more Uhlan. I should have gone back here actually, but I fought, okay. Meanwhile, new Uhlans go raiding. The food here, nothing left to raid. I see Strelets, so I help my mate, so I can kill the Strelets, so he can do more damage again. Here, all the time, we keep preventing Russia from having a good economy, as you can see in the score. He has only 70 score, while we are keeping our economy going. It's then not a problem to lose some raiding cavalry or to lose some battles. Meanwhile, I'm raiding over here again. I think I have to be honest, overall I lost a little bit too much cavalry, but in general keep in mind, if you do damage in raiding, look at this wall, if you do damage in raiding and you prevent them from gathering resources, it's not a problem to lose like a few Uhlans. You see that I make a tower here because I want some map control. I don't want to lose all these to some raid of fart. Also, you see that because of this tower and this house, everything, I see everything here. So I don't need to make towers here because I can gather here freely. Because when I see cavalry coming in here with the line of sight from the tower and the house, and this tower, I can just move these around. For example, if he comes this way, I move him to the left. If they come from this side, I just move him to the right. Line of sight is very important. Position your building so that you can see a lot. Use some forward towers to get map control because, of course, only line of sight with the not enough. You're gonna be too late. You wanna be able to have places to hide. Map control is very important. Okay, here we just have much more economy and Uhlans and stuff. Oh yeah, I'm already at 3rd age, so I have upgraded Uhlans. I'm making some 2 stables now, shipping them for coin. We lose this temporarily, but that's only because they are both still 2nd age and we just aged. So they have a little bit more units out, and that's the end of the game. Okay, so that is what I think I'm gonna stop now for. It's time to watch MLG ST2 tournament. This patch, this was the normal TAD patch. So in the fan patch you don't get 2 Uhlans with 3 settler wagons. He's right about that. But this was, I think. No. This was the R Robot Entertainment patch, RE patch. The reason why he sent 2 Uhlans is not because of the reason why he sent 2 settler wagons is not because of the Uhlans, because you get 2 Uhlans for free with both. It is because of a population house issue. If you send 2 Uhlans first, you can easier make 555 Uhlans without being housed. That's the main idea. It's actually quite okay. It's not bad. Okay, I hope you you learned a lot. I think that I've given so much information that you might want to see it. Watch the video again, pause it at sometimes perhaps. I already gave a brief summary of the topics that I covered for being the cavalry guy. Of course, there's so much more to talk about, to explain micro and detail. I would really think that it's good if you watch some of the previous videos. They were with written comments, I was not talking like now. But I think there's a lot of useful information in there and you can learn a lot about it. And to conclude this, of course knowing things is one thing, knowing a theory is one thing, but you have to be able to put things into practice, and the only way to do that is to play games and learn stuff yourself. So